So, raise your hand if you're a college student. I myself as well am a college student. Now, how many of you, your parents have said college is going to be the time of your lives? It's going to be fun, exciting. You're going to meet new people, have a bunch of new fun experiences, and it's just all together going to be just great. Good for you to do. Now, in reality, we, since we're college students, know that's not fully true. Half the time, yeah, we can go out, have fun with our friends, do whatever. The other half, stress, worried about getting our grades in, worried about whether we're going to make it to the next step in our process of education, and honestly worried about debt. So today, I'll be talking about how schools or universities should reform to actually help gear students to help them more towards their future and going on into the next step of their life with less baggage on their back. So first of all, I'm a college student. That's my credibility. Every day, a lot of stress is packed onto my butt plate. I have 20 plus hours of credit that I have to get it done this semester alone, as well as since I'm a vet student, I need work hours for my grad school to make it onto my next step. So to get that, I need to study, and work. And study doesn't leave a lot of time for many students to take a break and take a load off and not worry about it for a little bit. As talked about by Dr. Sildo and his colleagues from University of Florida, who published Psychology in Schools in 2008. He talks about how since the 80s, almost 12% of students were prescribed stress meds, such as Xanax, benzos, we're gonna go with that, and other medication to help with stress, which actually can cause other problems such as depression and anxiety, which leads to more stress and leads you to not be able to focus on your school and other things, such as if you're sitting in class and you're on these meds, maybe it makes it hard to focus. And some of these students will lose focus in this class and their GPAs tend to drop, which obviously is not good for your future. Doesn't look good on transcripts. Writer Heidi Zwart published College Students Stress Facts in 2021, who talked about 12% were prescribed these medicines and in the 80s, and 42%, it is raised nowadays to 42%, which is kind of tough. That means more college students nowadays feel so stressed that they need an outside, I can't remember these words. Never mind, sorry. Yeah. Going on. Stress leads to, wow, okay. Gen Eds. We're going to the next thing. Many colleges actually will have you in your major take close to 120 to 140 Gen Ed credits. Some of these credits actually are not really geared towards your major, and they're more for extra money towards the college and just to see if you can take on a larger workload to see if you really are prepared for your future, which may be great for the future. Like, yeah, I have time, I can manage my workload, manage all my homework and whatever else, but in the time being, going back to stress, this adds a lot onto your plate and doesn't really leave you much time to do really anything else to where your mental health can be as good as it should be. These gen eds that aren't needed are usually given in lieu of some classes that you actually need. For me, one of my vet classes that I need, my advisor said, hey, instead of that, you need to take this because this is on your gen ed and it is a requirement, or else you will not graduate. Even though it's not technically geared towards your major, you need this class. And that is an extra $500 that we all have to put towards that gen ed that is unneeded. Frederick Ngo, a journalist for the Journal of Higher Education, published in 2020 how students take 3 to 4 classes that are actually not, or 3 to 4 credit hours that are actually not needed for their major per semester. So that is a $500 to $600 charge every semester that is just not needed at all. That just goes towards the school. And because of this, some students actually lose interest in their gen eds, which drives them to not focus and not pay attention, and makes them not really want to be a part of it, causing their GPAs to actually drive down. As reporter Mikhail Zinshift publisher of Education in 2021, speaks about how gen eds actually have caused an average GPA drop of 2.1 GPA. Since they don't gear towards your grad school, in reality, why take them? What is the point of doing that? Speaking of grad school, work hours. Once again, veterinary classes, med school, those need up to 200 to 400 work hours just to get in, just to be able to apply into grad schools. Many of these grad schools, if you don't have that, then they will not even look at your application, or not look at your application, not look at you, not even want you to come and tour. If you try and tour and you say, I have this GPA, many grad schools will turn you away. This is talked about by authors Xin Yi and Xuping Hu, who published research in higher education in 2022. And then finally, of course, grad rates. Grad rates actually have dropped from a 80% graduation rate from universities to a whopping 68%. That might not seem much, but there's 3.6 million people in America, close to 800,000 students across America in college right now. So that's actually quite a drastic drop. Many advisors will actually end up not gearing you towards your grad school. So many grad schools need different requirements. So say one in Oklahoma needs XYZ, while the other one needs ABC, but you don't know that. And many of your advisors will gear you towards one that might be more expensive, such as Mizzou Vet School, which is much more expensive than an Oklahoma vet school. But if you go to Missouri, they're going to gear you towards that Mizzou Vet School, even though you might not want it. So altogether, we do face a lot of adversity as college students. We face stress, work hours, and gen eds that just aren't honestly needed. But all in all, schools do need to reform the way they're teaching in their classes.